All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Hope you all are doing well. Today I'm going to tell you about my adventure longboarding to the grocery store, which sounds like it wouldn't be that much of like a crazy adventure, but there's a catch. The grocery store, the nearest grocery store, is 15 miles away from where I'm currently living. And it's almost all highway as well. It's like 10 miles you have to be on the highway or walking on dirt roads. So that is where the adventure comes in. I did try to film this journey because when I had done it before, I've done this a few times now, I'd wished that I'd filmed it, and everyone else wished that I'd filmed it too, but filming it turned out to be very difficult. Usually, I film everything in like slow motion, and then like cut it together in a really specific way. But this time, I was trying to film audio too, which is so weird. Just like totally not the style that I'm used to. And I think that really messed me up because I was trying to hold the camera close enough to me so that I could hear the audio. Because like my microphone isn't that good. And that made all the footage super shaky and weird, which is not the best. Anyway, so filming attempt kind of failed. I did post some fragments of it, but it like definitely didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. But that being said, I don't know, it's fine. Whatever. I did the whole journey in Vans shoes, which like here's the deal, right? Is I longboard in Vans shoes because they're like flat and good for foot braking, which longboards don't have brakes. So you gotta like put your foot down and create friction that way. There's other ways to stop, but they're like more advanced. Anyway, so wearing Vans. But there is parts of it that I have to walk, like big uphills or stretches where it's safer to be in the dirt than on the road or whatever. And my Vans shoes, I don't know if all Vans shoes do this, but mine specifically will like slice into my feet as I walk. Like not even just give me blisters. They're like sharp. Just cuts open my ankles. And that is unfortunate because I don't want to carry hiking shoes when I go that far because hiking shoes are heavy. And then I'd have to carry 2 pairs of shoes, which is super annoying. But whatever, I don't know. Now I have this like sturdy scab on my ankle, which is pretty gross, but it means my shoes can't cut me anymore because the scab is too strong, resisting them. Hopefully it becomes a callus at some point. So, the most exciting, let me cross this out, most exciting thing that happened on this particular longboarding trip. So I was actually coming back. This was on the way back from the grocery store. Okay, so riding a longboard in the shoulder of the highway is basically as big as the highway lanes, right? Like there's plenty of room. It's totally fine. I was actually walking a lot of this part because I'm not super good with like huge downhills either. Really not that great at longboarding, all things considered. Anyway, riding the longboard in the shoulder, and I like hear some weird noise behind me, right? Then I look back and there's like totally a police car like in the shoulder behind me, just, chasing me. And so I was like, wait, that's not good. I'm probably getting pulled over on a longboard, which is hilarious, by the way. And so I like stop and I like go around to talk to the officer, and the officer's like, hey, someone called the police on you and said you were riding in the lanes. Which, I wasn't riding in the lanes. Also, if you're gonna, like, who does that? Who calls the police and, like, blatantly lies. Like, what could possibly be the motivation for that? Are they just... Is it someone who I know who's, like, who has something against me? Or is it, like, some tourist who doesn't know that it's normal for people to ride bikes on that stretch and walk it sometimes? I mean, there's a better way to walk, but it's not uncommon to have not car traffic there. Like, it's not that weird. Anyway, so I told the police officer, right, that I wasn't in the lanes. And he's like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense for you to be in the lanes. And I'm like, yeah, like, I feel like I have an incentive to stay out of them because, like, I don't want to be hit by a car. Anyway, so that was fine. Hilarious. Totally fine. And then he leaves. And then I do the rest of the journey just fine. No further problems, which it would be pretty impressive if something else went wrong that badly. Okay, what is the next thing? Okay, so after I did longboard back from the grocery store to my house, I'm like, what if, right? What if I go the other direction to the next closest grocery store, right? So that's 30 miles to the next closest. And I'm like, whatever, it's not that hard. Done it on a bicycle. It's like downhill. The problem with this is that it's super steep downhill. I don't know the like exact elevation drop ratio, but very steep. I can do that very steep downhill on a bicycle, right? Bicycles have brakes. Longboards don't have brakes. And so I like went on the hiking trail for the first 10 miles out of those 30 miles. And there's something weird, right? So this is going to be an overnight trip because I don't want to go 60 miles in one day. So I'm carrying a backpack and it has like, it's not really a weird backpack except for the fact that it's bright yellow. Other than that, it's not weird. So backpack and then sleeping bag on top of that backpack. Sleeping bag is bright blue. I don't know. I didn't think I looked that weird. And then there's like a helmet attached to that. And I'm like on a hiking trail with a longboard. Anyway, so what kept happening is I would like pull off the trail to let someone go by. And they would go by and then they would stop. And they would be like, what are you doing? Like, I just apparently looked so weird that everyone had to stop and ask. And I actually had like a lot of cool conversations with people. Like, I don't know, it was nice to talk to people that way and super unexpected. And then, once I got off of the hiking trail, and I'm like finally going, right, then there's this car coming up behind me, and now I don't look as weird, right, because I'm not carrying a longboard on a hiking trail, and I'm just like longboarding on like this back road kind of like side street, and it's fine. So this car comes up to pass me, and there's actually no shoulder here, but it's like a really quiet road, so like whatever. And as the car like slows down a whole bunch, like way more than all the other cars, and passes me, I can see that the guy is like filming, right? Filming me? What? Like, do I look that weird? Is that what's happening here? And then I'm like, well, as long as he doesn't show the police. I already had an encounter with the police, so we'll just leave it at that. Anyway, so that was that journey. I didn't actually make it the full 30 miles the first day. Miscalculated. It took me way too long to walk. So then I just like stopped before the next town and like slept and then just made it the next day, which is no problem at all. In conclusion, this week I have learned that if you want strangers to like talk to you and like to meet a whole bunch of cool people, what you do, right, is you wear something weird and you wave to everyone. I don't know, maybe that's a bad idea, maybe that like attracts the wrong kind of attention, but I don't know. I had some cool conversations with this week with like random people, so maybe give it a try. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for listening.